And here we go. Embracing our fears. We are embracing our fears by destroying the kitchen. You know, it's very difficult, but we are doing it all by ourselves. And this is just for you to see. We are just showing you one of the fears. We revealed the stone, and now we are gonna leave it like this, with cement around.
Hi everyone!
Hello. As you saw, we have a lot of work to do, but thanks to embracing the fear, I mean, it sounds ridiculous to embrace the fear, but actually the fear is not something bad, it's just trying to tell you to be stronger, right?
Mm-hmm. That was actually one of our biggest fears, to start doing construction work ourselves, because we don't have any previous experience. Neither we had an idea before that what we are going to do, but the first step we did is we had someone come and help us, a professional. We learned some things, we read a lot of stuff, we experimented beforehand, and with the little help of my father, who also doesn't have a lot of experience in these things.
Yeah, this helped us a lot into progressing so much.
Yes.
On, even though construction work has nothing to do with twin flames, but at the end it has to do.
Exactly.
If you look deep into it, we have to take care of every single stage of our lives. We cannot just take care of the spirituality. It has to be,
Everything.
each one of them has to be taken care of. We have like 7 bodies or so the emotional, the mental, and all this, so they all need attention.
And I just want to sneak in one big thank you to everyone who has been commenting on our videos lately, and also the Telegram channel. There has been some nice discussions there going on.
Yeah, thank you very much.
There has been a few people who bought us a coffee and supported us in other ways. We're really grateful for that. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
You're amazing.
Helps a lot. You're amazing.
Yes, like this we can move on with what we are doing. But now we go back to the shadow work we have to do on fixing the fears on the twin flame journey, because that really is something very big for many of us, I think.
There is many steps that you can do in order to fully embrace the shadows and become a more balanced person. The first thing that Petia, she was the one who came up with this video, and I like it very much. As soon as she spoke to me about the video, I thought it was to embrace the dark side or something like this, because embrace shadows. But it really is, when you embrace your shadows, you actually are becoming more balanced person. If you run away, you actually do the opposite. You become, you know, not such a better person. I don't know how to say it in a good way.
Sometimes you actually have to embrace your lights, because I've met a whole lot of people coming for consultations who actually are afraid to recognize their light. They have been so much focused on their darkness that they were not giving credit to the light within themselves. And that's also something that we should do.
Yeah, we didn't come up by like where to start, how to end, but we will try to give you
a few steps
how to fix this. And the only thing that comes to my mind for now is the inner child.
Okay, yes, that's a big part of it.
Many people don't really see it as a something important. Probably you do, but because we don't take into consideration to take care of it from time to time, it gets a little bit out of hand. And what happens? We always have to see the 2 extremes of something. So the extreme of inner child is being adult and really forgetting and blocking away every single innocent and or humble sensation that crosses through you since you were born. So if we don't take care of our inner child, our fears are gonna start to control our life instead of the other way around. We have to control the fears in a way that it serves us and we don't become slaves to it. So the inner child is a very powerful thing.
It's not even more to control him, but more like to become one.
Yes, thank you very much for correcting.
Because I know that there will be a lot of people that will jump in and they'll say, no, control.
Yeah. This.
But sometimes we just don't express ourselves in the best way, and it is important as well. So that we can be understood.
So then the inner child is gonna take care of you. If you take care of your inner child, the inner child is gonna take care of you. It's something like this. Mm-hmm. The inner child is not like abandon us and cannot do anything. It can do many things, but you have to give the attention.
It's the magic within you.
Yes, it's a magic, and it gives the anything is possible type of effect. Mm-hmm. So for the people who really want to create their own reality and everything's possible, only through the inner child. You cannot just use the mind. The mind alone doesn't do much. You need the inner child.
Exactly. Something else that is a lot spoken, but I'm gonna give a slightly different perspective on this, is the focus on yourself. Be mindful of yourself, of your potential. Try to examine yourself, just like we mentioned at the beginning. Don't just focus on your darkness, but focus on your light as well. Try to see it. And take credit for that. I want to speak a little bit more about the judgmental part of ourselves, because we all have it in one or another way. Sometimes it just comes very unconsciously, and we catch ourselves in the middle of something that we are actually judging someone or something. Well, the most important part here is to become mindful and aware of who you are and stop judging yourself. The outside world is not important to focus on, and stop judging the outside world. Why? Because you want it or not, there will always be a small part of you judging at least a little bit the outside world. Because that's how the human brain is structured. We have to compare things. That's how we learn, for example, what is good and bad, what is hot and cold, what is sweet and salty. We have to compare, and a part of this comparison later on, it involves a small amount of judgment. But if we focus on accepting ourselves the way we are, we will eventually stop judging ourselves, and this will affect tremendously our behavior, our perception towards the outside world as well. It will happen on its own.
Yes, and to help the judging less, you have to ground yourself, because when the mind is too activated, no matter what you do, subconsciously you will always be judging. That's another thing to consider. So try to do things in your life, or ingest things in your life that really activates too much your brain. To relax is better. The more you relax, the better it is in terms of judging less.
Write down things. If you need to keep up a journal or something, whatever you feel, or you can just write down things from time to time that you want to get rid of. Burn that afterwards. Send it in moving water, or whatever you feel, it will make you feel better.
Yep.
Writing actually is very efficient way of letting go of things. It might not work immediately, but immediately you will feel some kind of a relief.
Yes, and most people are living alone, so it is important to write something down and then burn it, or send it in a vial across the sea, maybe it will help you to release something.
Or you might want to keep it just to go back after time and tell to yourself, because it has happened to me. Like, I found things from my childhood or earlier years that I wrote, and it's like, oh, it's so interesting to see yourself in the past. You almost like forget that other person that you were, and it's a good reminder from time to time to also to give credit to yourself how much you have moved on, how much you have evolved.
And sharing with, not only with the piece of paper that you have in front of you, but with someone else.
Yes.
It might be difficult for people who are completely alone, don't have anyone to share, but I'm sure you will find someone you can trust to share your burdens and your problems, your difficulties. There are people in this world who love to hear all of these things and to try to help, or at least just to be like a therapist. But if you cannot, if you don't have all these people, maybe a therapist really can help. They're not all bad. Actually, they are there to help us out. I had one when I was growing up, and it helped me a lot. It happens, because my parents separated, and it was very, very, very helpful. I didn't see that it was helpful at the beginning, but at the end I started to see the results. It was very good.
She was very kind.
I was feeling very comfortable. This is the most important. You need to feel comfortable by sharing what's going on with you, so that you know if is this too much of a concern, or it's not a big deal at all. Because sometimes it's not a big deal, but you need to share to someone for them to judge better. You can, that's why, because we cannot self-judge. Humans are very difficult to self-judge themselves. They are better at judging another one.
It depends. I actually see the two different people. I have come across in consultations people who extremely judge themselves, and they almost cannot judge the outside world. They blame themselves for everything, and others who blame constantly the outside world.
Yeah.
I also think this has to do with the yin-yang.
Again, there's always yin-yang, no matter what.
Energy as potential that we have, and it's just who we are. We should not even judge ourselves for this. Of course, there's the inner ethics that are within us. We have spoken about this before. And we cannot say that if you want to do something really bad to someone else, and you should not judge yourself for this. There are certain conditions that we just have to see, and we have to acknowledge that we need help. Sometimes this help is not just to speak with someone, but this help involves healing our physical body, because the emotions that we experience most of the times, the states that we enter, they are a part of our physical health. And if we lack certain nutrients, if we're not feeding especially our brain correctly, this will affect our behavior. It is even scientifically proven that the people who have psychological issues, it is extremely related to the needs, the physical needs, nutrient needs of their body.
Yeah.
They are not giving something to themselves, or they cannot absorb it. And this started a long time ago, usually from the childhood. And eventually it depletes the nervous system. Andre took a lot of work to create a really summarized, thing on this topic, more focused on the twin flame journey in our first book, which you can purchase online. It's an online version only. It really speaks about this part there.
Yeah,
it is important.
We have a maze. A maze is like a forest or a labyrinth that you cannot know where to go. You get lost. We have a maze in our body, and we have a maze in our mind, and also in the spiritual world. And we just need some help to remember where is the path. Tell me where's the path so that I can reach to the end, right? And that's why it's important to have the answers for this maze. Plus the maze is constantly moving, and so even if you know now what to do, 10 years ahead it might be totally different because the maze is moving. And that's what we understood.
You know, I just saw something even deeper energetically, because most of the times we speak, it's all related what we experienced energetically, the traumas from the childhood and stuff like this. Yes, it is so. But the most important part we have to focus there is that any kind of trauma, stress or whatever, it depletes the nervous system extremely. And on top of all, certain blood types get affected even further. For example, blood type A and blood type AB are the most vulnerable in this issue.
Yeah,
As
to stress in general.
Blood type B, yes, blood type B is the most resistant,
resilient to stress.
Yes.
Yep.
So there's a lot of things to consider. We are a bunch of so many things that it's very individual, and there's many techniques you can apply also to work on your fears, together with healing your body as well. Of course, we all know about meditation, but there's all kind of other things. Maybe you wanted all your life to draw something or to sing or whatever. Do something about it.
Yep.
You don't really need to go and become a famous artist, you know, but maybe it will help you in your healing journey. Go buy yourself some supplies. It's not expensive, but it will nourish your soul.
Serve your highest potential.
Exactly. And it will pay off eventually. There's many people as well who are helping using different techniques on healing the spiritual part of us that is also hurt, the energy part of us. So
sometimes we want to
you resonate
we want sometimes we but all of us, we want to quit life because it's too difficult, or something is we just don't feel anymore. But it's not true. It's just the one shadow that we didn't work on.
Mm-hmm.
This is the shadow that wants to quit. This is the shadow that has had enough. So that's why we are saying embrace the shadows and everything will be fine.
And last sentence I'm gonna just add on very quickly. Be gentle on yourself. Make one step at a time, coming out of your comfort zone, because facing your fears, it all has to do with stepping out of your comfort zone. I suffered from so many fears since a child, like millions, and I overcame so many of them, and that was my way. I had to do it step by step. You cannot do everything at the same time, so don't judge yourself for that you haven't had any progress, for example. That's why maybe journaling is essential. Write down,
Yeah, take it easy, relax.
what your fears are now, and go back and see after a year. Do you still have all these fears, or maybe you already worked on some of them?
There's no TikTok, there's no watch, like a stopwatch. It's all in our heads. This is just the society that we built, that we live under anxiety. But actually, when we went to Asia, over there is so peaceful that I started wondering,
Yes,
maybe anxiety
different.
doesn't exist. I started to think like this.
But it doesn't exist, indeed. In the ancient times, when I was a child, not, of course, not too long time ago, but when I was a child, it was much more peaceful. It was not so anxious, the life itself. But now everything is speeding up, and it continues to speed up and speed up and speed up. It has to do a lot with technology, of course, all this. But anyways, it's a different topic.
Yep. We have a lot of love for you, and
See you soon!
we are happy to see you always. See you soon.